Hayward holding down low, goes away for the Gobert pick, now comes back to the left-hand dribble to the top of the key, finds Rudy on the roll, and he dunks it! Oh, pick and roll, Hayward to Gobert, Jazz. It is tip-off for November 3rd, 8:32 in the morning. The essence of offense in this day and age. The Warriors, Rajon Rondo's fixed mindset, and more, I assume. It's all coming up on tip-off. Pow. How are you? Thanks for coming along. Appreciate you taking the time. Great numbers recently, kicking off the season. People are tuning in from around the country as well as Jazz fans. Love it. Glad to have you. Thanks so much. I'm David Locke, radio voice of the Utah Jazz, Jazz NBA insider. I hear you can like me now. Yeah, I guess Twitter got rid of favorites, went to likes. So like it to get likes. God, I hate this society. As a parent, I hate it even more. I swear. I mean, I keep my kids off every social networking because the idea that they just walk around all day. How many likes do I have? How many likes do I have? Ugh. I see it destroy adults. How are you expecting young kids to be able to deal with it? Okay, sorry. Seriously. Just like, yeah, I mean, I know I can't keep them in a closet forever, but I'm going to sure as hell try. All right. You can follow me at Locked On Sports. You can follow me on Facebook at David Locke and Locked On Sports. I'll be sure to check how many likes I have so I can have my own personal value as a human being set on that. It's hard not to, though, isn't it? That's what kills me is even like myself, who I think I got enough social confidence. I check, like, oh, how'd that tweet go? Like, God, stop. Like now Twitter analytics, like kill me. So anyway, that's been the big hubbub this morning. We got a fun show coming for you. We're gonna look at the Warriors. I really feel pretty comfortable that I was on the forefront of this Warrior thing. I'm gonna reset the topic on the Warrior thing. We're gonna talk about fixed mindset versus growth mindset, which you've heard from me a lot, but I have another example that kind of came to that I wanted to share with you. We're going to talk about numbers 3-4 games in the season and what do you do about these because they're all we have and everyone's concerned. And then I want to look at two plays. We actually looked at them yesterday. We're going to look at them with the little NBA dots if we can find them. That site is so funky right now. Some plays are right, some plays aren't. And I want to show you really kind of what the essence and the goal of almost every offensive play is in this day and age. So that's the plan. If you're new to the show, I'm the radio voice for the Jazz. I get here every morning. I prep the show a little bit. I've changed my schedule. It used to be really early in the morning. Now changed it a little bit. Though we'll still do some early ones. I'm now trying to work out first thing in the morning so I can stay and not become a blimp as the season goes on like every other year. But anyway, it's me. I grab a cup of coffee. I have a double espresso. See, there it is. Espresso. And you can grab whatever you want, be it a Red Bull, Diet Coke, something healthy, some green, some kale shake, and hang out. And I just kind of share with you what I'm seeing in the NBA and what's going on. The format wherein you actually can ask some questions on the Q&A section. If I have time, I'll get to them. Cool. All right, thanks. We have a fun feature we do called Pins Across the World. And it's those people who listen to the show and follow the show and where you are across the world as you listen and as you follow. Email me who you are, your backstory, why you're listening to the show, why you're a Jazz fan if that's what you are, and where you listen from. Today, it's Kirk McKee. He's actually, it's Tim. See, very, very confusing. It says Kirk McKee, but his first thing says, I'm Tim from Tridell, Utah. Where is that? Tridell? I've been watching tip-off for a couple of years through Monterey, California, 29 Palms, California, and now Jacksonville, North Carolina. I'm home on leave right now. It's awesome not having to load it up on my lunch break or wait till I get off work. I'm so excited for the season to start. Thank you for keeping us off-season appetite satisfied or as much as they can be this time of year. He sent that in August. I'm still in the August ones. That is Kirk. Thanks, dude. Glad to have you. And or it's Tim. Not sure. But great. Glad to have you. So send me that email at dlock09. And then when we're on the road, please come by and say hi. Love it. All right, let's get to the show right away. The Golden State Warriors beat the Grizzlies by 50 last night. By 50. This is stupid stuff. They're so good. But here's what everybody is like. I know everybody fell in love with LaMarcus Aldridge to San Antonio and Oklahoma. I mean, I think Oklahoma City's gonna be incredible. But guys, the Warriors last year won 68 games, 5th most wins of all time. They had the 8th largest margin of victory of all time. 10 points a game. We need to just take a second, back up and review who we're talking about. What's happened here, and I was convinced of this last year, that this happened here. 2 things have happened here that is making it very, very difficult for people to understand who the Warriors are. One is that they're not Chicago, they're not Los Angeles, they're not Boston. That's the first thing. The second thing is they play this kind of funky, weird, they move the ball and shoot, and they shoot incredibly well, right? So that's a little funky, I think, for some people. But let me make sure we put in perspective who the Warriors are. When you think of the Golden State Warriors, here's what you should think of. The Warriors last year were the number 1 team in offense. And the number 2 team in offense. The Clippers surpassed them for number 1 on one of the last days of the year. And the number 1 team in defense. So they were 2 in offense, 1 in defense. Okay? Here are the only teams that have ever been in the ballpark to who the Warriors are. The 95-96 Bulls. They won 72 games. They were number 1 in both. They won the title. They outscored their opponents by 12 points a game. I know pace is actually a better number. It was 13.4. The Warriors' pace number was even higher than their 10.1. Okay, this generally thought of as the greatest team of all time, the 95-96 Bulls. Unless you're Bill Simmons, then it's the Celtics team. 71-72 Lakers. They had won 69 games. They had the longest win streak of all time. They were the number 1 offensive team and the number 2 defensive team. They won 12 of 15 games on the way to the top. They actually lost in the finals to the Bucks. No, they lost in the finals the next year. They won that year, lost in the finals the next year. The 71-72 Bucks, same season, equally as dominant. They were the number 2 offensive team, number 1 defensive team. That's Oscar Robertson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. The 71-72 Lakers team is Wilton. Right. Okay. The 96-97 Bulls, who we know well with Jordan, the year after 72, first team to beat the Jazz, one of the great teams. Their margin of victory was 10 points a game, same as the Warriors, and they were the number 2 offensive team and number 5 defensive team. So last year's Warriors team was more dominant than the 96-97 Jordan Bulls. Let's go to the 91-92 Bulls, which is the team that beat Portland in the finals, I believe. They were first offensively, 4th defensively. They won 67 games. The Warriors were more dominant last year than the 91-92 Bulls. They won the title the year after 92-93 also. Just point out that teams this high win the title the next year. 70-71 Bucks. Year before, it's Oscar, it's Kareem, it's great. First offensive, first defensive, won the title, went 12-2 on their title run. Okay, that team's maybe was more dominant than the Warriors. The 07-08 Kevin Garnett, Ray Allen, Rajon Rondo, Paul Pierce Celtics, unbelievable. They were 10th offensively, first defensively, struggled in the playoffs, won 7 in the first and second rounds before Doc Rivers finally got his title. Those are the only teams in the history of the game to outscore their opponents by more than the Warriors last year. And if you really now kind of dig in what I just showed you, the 95-96 Bulls that won 72 games, I would say, were more dominant. The 70-71 Bucks were more dominant or as dominant. And that's it. That's it. For a given season, they were equal to the 71-72 Lakers. First offense, second defense, 12-3 title run. The Warriors last year had to go, they were 16-5, right? The Bucks, the 71-72 Bucks lost to that Laker team. I'd say they were all kind of in the same realm. They were more dominant than the 91-92 Bulls. They were more dominant than the 96-97 Bulls. There have only been two teams in the history of the game that were more dominant in a single season than the Warriors were last year, and I think they might have gotten better in the offseason, and they beat Memphis by 50 last night. And Memphis is good. And the game, here's the crazy thing about that game. It was Memphis led after the first quarter. Memphis led after the first quarter. And then after I was so blown away by what the Jazz did against Indiana. They outscored the Grizzlies 72-27. That doesn't happen in Division I women's basketball anymore when Connecticut plays anyone. That happens when your local sixth grade team plays the local sixth grade team down the street that's not any good. 72-27. The Warriors are absurd. They hit 18 of 34 uncontested jumpers last night at 53%. They had Memphis so far on their ropes last night that Memphis couldn't hit an open shot. Memphis hit 26% of their open looks. The Warriors are just fabulous. And Festus Ezeli is defending the rim at a high level without Andrew Bogut. They're great. Enjoy them. Cherish them. But stop talking about San Antonio and Oklahoma City like they're in the same class. There's only been two teams in the history of the game, or call it the modern shot clock game, that have been as good as the Warriors. And then you got Doc Rivers with his asinine, stupid comments, but they didn't matter who they played. They were the dominant team all year. All right, next topic, Rondo. All right, so I'm reading this book called Mindset. This happens to you when I read these things, then this is me. I'm hanging out in the morning having coffee, evidently enough to have enough energy today, and I'm sharing with you what is going on, what I'm reading, what I'm seeing. So obviously what I'm reading right now, you're going to get a lot of. The book's called Mindset. The concept is the growth mindset versus the fixed mindset. The growth mindset's always looking to get better, and it doesn't necessarily mean that you don't succeed. The author uses John McEnroe as a very fixed mindset person. And Lee Iacocca. You can have great success and great talent with a fixed mindset. They would argue it doesn't last as long as it could, and you don't improve at the rate maybe you should with the growth mindset. Okay, that's it. I read a quote from Mark Spear's story in Yahoo about Rajon Rondo, and I thought this was incredible to the fixed mindset of Rajon Rondo, who had problems in Boston, got traded to Dallas, didn't change anything about himself, had problems, is now in Sacramento, and people want to believe it's going to change. I'm telling you, when I've read this quote right here, that's a fixed mindset. It's not changing. He's going to be a problem in Sacramento. Okay? So I'm going to really simplify this, and I find it very interesting. I think it's worth reading. It gets into everything from business to sports to relationships. It's decent. It's pretty good. As I said, and someone was nice enough to kind of send me the cliff notes of these, I often feel as though many of these things are long articles that turn into books because you don't make money on articles. But I think this is pretty good, so you can decide for yourself if you want to read it. And I apologize that you get just stuck with these things, and I don't read particularly fast with all the prep I do, so these books stick around for a while. So anyway, Rondo, the fixed mindset is I am what I am. I am who I am. When a task is difficult, it's, I'm just not good enough. It's a little bit also a believer. The fixed mindset believes they're just smarter than everybody else. There's not that they've worked hard. They're just better than everyone else. So a little bit of the fixed. The growth mindset believes that you continue to work. I can improve. I'm struggling with this math test. I'll do better on this math test by studying more, and I'll do better next time, where the fixed mindset sees that math test as, well, I'm just not a good math student. Or does well on that test and says, it's just because I'm smarter than everybody else. Which then means when the fixed mindset fails, they have a really hard time dealing with it because there's no area of growth. It's just who they are. So that's the concept of the book. Rondo's quote, "People that know me know me. I am the way I am. They know my character. It is what it is. The perception the media gave me," I'll readdress that in a second, "the character of the person they made me, whoever they made me out to be, that's their prerogative." Okay, let me clarify something on that concept that I think is very interesting on athletes. There are certainly times when the media makes somebody out to be something. More often than not, it's off something they've done. So in the case of Rajon Rondo, there are numerous stories, some of which are public, some of which are not. I don't know if the Snapple bottle story is public or not, so I'll just leave it out there like that. And if people know it, they'll know it. If they don't, they don't. But this concept here is, Ray Allen outwardly talked about how incredibly difficult Rajon Rondo was to deal with. Paul Pierce basically did the same thing and talked about that. So that became public. And then in Dallas, Rick Carlisle kicked him off the team because he was such a pain in the ass. And so that's not the media creating a perception of Rajon Rondo. That's Rajon Rondo's actions being made public and the media reporting on. There are certain cases I would say, I think Ron Artest / Meta World Peace is a case where the media gave this guy off his actions a character and then has never adjusted very, very unfairly to a guy who I think is actually an incredible spokesperson for people with mental illness and should be lauded for his incredible work. The NBA did it by giving him the Walter J. Kennedy Citizens Award, and then the media just kind of snuffed at it because they didn't want to give him. They have to admit they might have been wrong. The media's not great at that. But they know my character. It is what it is. The perception the media gave me, the character, the person they made me, whoever they made me out to be, that's their prerogative. That guy's not changing. The growth mindset could be, this is another opportunity for me. Things went wrong in Dallas. It was a bad fit. I'm going to try to make sure it's not the case here. We're going to work together to, right? But that's not what you hear out of Rondo. I'll keep an eye on this. I think this is fascinating. I think I said this the other day on the show. The Spurs organization is a growth mindset organization. The Lakers organization is a fixed mindset organization. Kobe, I'm watching his quotes very closely. He may be fixed mindset. Doesn't mean you can't be great. But Kobe's total inability to change who he is as a player right now, to adjust to where he is, and his superior attitude that he's still just better than everybody else. When he's not, it's very fixed mindset. Okay, I'm not a I'm reading it. I think it's an incredible concept. Quinn couldn't be more growth mindset oriented. Incredibly brilliant, incredibly smart, but works to get better and take people in. He's got frankly, he probably has some fixed mindset business aspects to him that, if in Quinn's growth mindset, if Quinn were to talk about the areas where he needed to improve, I bet you those would be the areas he would talk about. Right? I think I would guess. Like, I like to think I'm growth mindset, but there's a bunch of areas where I read this. I'm like, it's a pretty fixed mindset right there. Right? Okay. So anyway, I thought that was fascinating. We're going to do tomorrow. We'll do something on lineup data. Nylon Calculus has done a fabulous piece. I just tweeted it out there. It's worth reading, and I'll give it to you here in a little bit. All right, what do we do with statistical numbers at this point in the season? Frankly, nothing. What we should do is nothing. We should never look at any of them. We're 3 games into a season. Some people are 4. It's impossible to take any value out of any of them. But they're what we've got. So let's take a quick gander at a few of them together. All right, so here are the best offensive teams in the NBA. And what my general take is on this is keep an eye on it. I don't think there's a predictive element to anything you're looking at here. There's not, but what I would say is if something's in here that you didn't expect, take a look at it. Right? Keep an eye on it. Wouldn't buy a stock off it, wouldn't sell a stock off it. Keep an eye on it. So the Warriors are the number 1 offensive team in the league. Their net differential is 26.6. This is just stupid. The Thunder are second at 109. It's not really surprising. Okay, Miami's the 3rd best offensive team in the league. Oh, that's unusual. And let's go back to, for those of you longtime tip-off listeners, Pac. Pac told you when we did it at the beginning of the year that Miami was going to be one of the elite offensive teams in the league, right? The number one offensive team in the league, according to PAC, I believe was going to be the Warriors. In the West was going to be the Warriors, followed by the Thunder. Oh, did I not save something? Oh, crap. Oh, that sucks. PAC Western Conference. Where's PAC Eastern Conference? Pisser. Let me check. Maybe I saved it here. Here it is. Okay, good. Here, let's go run over to our offensive. Should I switch screens for you? Let's see if I can do that. Let's go. So, just things you keep an eye on, right? That's kind of what I'm saying. Whoa, something's gone really funky. All right. If I click here, do you get this now? No. Screen share. Hi, I'm back. All right, let's go here. All right, so when the year started, we projected that the Warriors would be number 1 PAC. The Rockets would be 2. This is certainly not true. The Thunder would be 3. Dallas is an injury thing. It's hard to tell. And over in the East, we said Atlanta would be 1. Miami would be 2, and Cleveland would be 3, and everybody else would be less good. All right. So wait a sec. So Miami suddenly, who we projected to be the 3rd best offensive team in the NBA, is suddenly looking like the 3rd best offensive team in the NBA, and everyone's surprised. Okay. Well, maybe, again, I wouldn't take huge value out of this yet, but let's keep an eye on it, right? That would be a thought. Sacramento, who we projected would have a really good offensive season, is at 4th. The Clippers at 5th. Cleveland at 5. Milwaukee, that makes no sense at all. All right, let's keep an eye on it. The Knicks, that makes no sense at all. I had them as one of the last in Toronto. All right, so there's a few outliers here. One is that Miami and Sacramento, people wouldn't have thought are that good, but our preseason numbers said they are, so let's keep an eye on it. And then Milwaukee and the Knicks are in here, which we certainly never expected. On the other end, Houston is down as one of the worst offensive teams in the NBA. What? Okay, keep an eye on it. They got a nice win last night. I wouldn't make predictive statements out of it, but that's unusual to have there. Now let's go to the defensive numbers so far. And defensive, I really don't have a system to predict so far, but the Jazz are number 1. The Warriors are 2. The Spurs are 3. The Bulls are 4. Cleveland's 5. Detroit. Oh, all right. Keep an eye on that. Detroit without Greg Monroe, with Andre Drummond, suddenly looks like an elite level defensive team. In Toronto, with the addition of Damari Carroll, despite the loss of Amir Johnson, looks like an elite defense. Oh, interesting. Okay. Oh, Dallas. Very surprised yet. And again, Minnesota's in here because Minnesota has played Portland, Denver, and the Lakers. So none of these sample sizes are great. Bad defense, I do sometimes think you got to take a look at. And here you have New Orleans under Alvin Gentry and the great assistant coach. It's supposed to be leading the way. It's not happening. Milwaukee, the Lakers, not surprising. Brooklyn, not surprising. Memphis, stunning. They've played the Warriors, though. And New Orleans has played the Warriors twice. So you got to throw those out and say, okay. So anyway, that's the way I'd look at it. I wouldn't do a lot with it. I would kind of just take yourself and back off a little, but take a little quick scan. Like, I think it's interesting that Miami's there and Sacramento's there, which we projected. Like, oh, let's see if that's really true. Early indicators, or maybe there's something to our silly pack system. All right. Jazz. One of those same kind of things that you don't want to really get into is the numbers with the starting lineup. So the defensive numbers for the Jazz starting lineup right now are unreal. Again, facing a bad team in Philadelphia really can skew this stuff. But now I start to think about it, and Hood's a better defensive player than Alec. Neto's a better defensive player than Trey. Gordon's a good defensive player. Favors and Gobert are elite. Neto may be high level. Oh. So there might something to watch is early in games how much this group is able to really play defensively. Because that's been a huge indicator to me in the first 2 games, that defensive unit. Now, we finally have some bench scoring with Alec and Trey, and their defensive weaknesses might be less significant going up against bench unit guys, right? Steve Blake trying to beat Trey Burke instead of Reggie Jackson trying to beat Trey Burke. It's good. Jody Meeks trying to beat Trey Burke instead of Kentavious Caldwell, or Alec Burks instead of Kentavious. Oh, that's better for us. Right? So in the case of Portland, you're getting Alan Crabb, a spot-up shooter, instead of C.J. McCollum on Alec. What's better? He's not a great defensive player. He can be. He's not. Rodney's not a great defensive player either, but he's pretty long and he kind of plays it right and plays it pretty conservatively. Gordon had an elite level defensive game against Paul George the other night. Right? So you just walk through our road trip, like, it just suddenly that begins to really make sense that this team gels nicely in that way. The flip side of that is Trey Burke going up against Steve Blake can probably beat him. Trey Burke's playing really well offensively, 48% shooting. I want to talk about the essence of offense, of what offense is in the NBA right now. Back to our videos from the other day. And the essence of offense in the NBA is this play is basically, there's two plays I'm going to try to find for you. The whole idea of what you're trying to do in the NBA now, I actually did this, and then a guy in the league kind of said to me, like, you realize that that's like what everyone, yesterday, and he's like, that's what everyone's trying to do. So that's why I wanted to do this, is the essence of what just happened. Oh, we lost the play. So now let me see if I can go find it, which is not going to be easy because it's not labeled correctly. So it's going to have to be this right here, I think. So the essence of what you're trying to do defensively in this day and age is to push the ball free throw line extended and down. It first was called downing, and then it was called icing. We call it channeling. And if you listen closely, if a good sound mic, you'll hear channel, channel, channel. And that's the concept a little bit of what is going on. The way that the ultimate goal now is to beat the channel. Now, some of what I'm going to show you here, frankly, is that Indiana wasn't playing very well. But these two plays right here are the essence of what you want to do offensively. So here's Rodney Hood coming up the floor. And first of all, the spacing is really good. This is the essence of what the Jazz want to do. Lead big goes to the rim, trail big behind, spread out floor. Look how wide you've created the defense. This is really a nice start for the Jazz. Spacing really matters. Okay, so Gobert comes up, sets a pick, and you'll see Monte Ellis jumps to the outside of the pick and forces Rodney down. That's exactly what you want to do defensively, and that shows exactly why. There's not a lot of room for Rodney to work. He's in the mid-range with a not very good shot. His passing window is not very good to Gordon. This is a good example of what you want to do defensively. In the Jazz eyes, they would bring number 3, which I guess is George Hill, much further into the paint, but that's not how Indiana. So the Jazz rotate it. Look how fast Favors gets rid of it. Two things to watch there, if I can back it up a little bit. Watch how fast Favors gets rid of this ball, and watch that Neto. This is where Neto is just a really good player. Watch the 25 circle as I move it. Here's the pass to Derek. Watch Neto. Neto has started moving to the ball already. So he's got 2 steps going that direction as he catches. Now this is the essence of what you want to do in the NBA. Because George Hill really wants to keep Neto free throw line and below. So pass over here to Neto. See George Hill trying to get there. Off this pick from Derek. Rudy has now come down into the left block and has a few options we'll touch on here in a second. Neto comes off the pick with a nice curl. He's now got George Hill trailing him. Favors rolls to the basket. It looks clogged up, but what you've really created right here is a 3-on-3 and almost a 3-on-2 because Hill's behind Neto. And Gobert's standing here with a chance for a dunk if Mahimi steps over. 0 is Lavoy Allen, I think. He's got to either help out on Neto's drive or stay with Favors. George Hill is trying to recover. So Neto penetrates. And they cover Favors. So Mahimi has to come over. And here's Gobert. And he'll give it to Rudy. This is the play we played for you yesterday. Rudy actually ends up traveling. Here's the neat flip on this thing. There's a few things here that can happen that even make this better. But the whole point of this is you want to get the ball to the middle of the floor in this day and age offensively. It's what everyone's trying to do on every play. So right here, you've got them. You've now got Favors rolling to an open side on the right. You've got Gobert and you got Hayward in the corner and Rodney up. If Monte Ellis decides to engage defensively and come back down to Neto, then Neto can flip it back up to Rodney for a three, or at that point, the rotation might happen. He hits Gordon for a corner three. Here's the other one. Gobert can flip on the backside of Paul George and suddenly set a pick on the back of Paul George. Neto throws out to Gordon for the corner three. Once you get to this point right here, you win. And that's the essence of offense today. Let me see if the play we played to that was our highlight to open the show today was on purpose, because here it is. So there's Rodney. Drive to the basket. Oh, Neto float up. Oh, shoot. Wait a sec. That's not it. I told you they were. Oh, no. Here it is. So we throw it back out. Similar circumstance, right? Neto's now here. This is off an offensive rebound. Neto's missed. Rodney spaces to here. Favors can't space all the way to the corner, so it changes things a little bit. And watch, this is really good basketball by Gordon Hayward. So Gordon is going to get a pick from Rudy and go away from the pick like the defense wants him to. So he's now going to go to the side they want. Paul George is going to jump up on his outside to keep him there. And immediately Gordon flips it back around for the pick and roll here, gets Rudy on the dunk. We showed you this yesterday. But let's back it up, because there are a bunch of points to this that make it even better and show the growth of the team and how you want to play these things. Let's see if I just do this, if I can get that. Okay. So Jazz just run their basic pick and roll. They defend it well here. George Hill gets Neto down. Neto has nowhere to go. He's forced to pick up a little runner. Neto's yet to make a shot off a pick and roll yet this year, so it's a good play. Now we set it back up. There's two things in here that are really particular that are good. Rodney Hood's movement and Derek Favors' movement. So Rodney runs down around trying to create something, sees what's about to happen, sees Gordon's going to reverse, clears his man out. Neto should rise up. Right? See how they do that? Now you're into the same circumstance you were before, but Derek is clogging Gobert's roll lane. Derek's in the wrong spot. So what does Derek do? Derek keeps running, brings his man with him, and the ball gets to Gobert. And by the time this play is over, we're back almost exactly where we were on the other play. Nicely spaced, pick and roll, open side, ball in the middle of the floor. It's a little different here because things were off an offensive rebound. But by the time Gordon got to this point on Paul George, here was the choice. Mahinmi had to either take Gordon or Gobert. Remember last time Lavoy Allen rolls down with Derek and guards the roll man. And Mahinmi stepped up to go get the ball handler. This time Mahinmi steps to go get the ball handler, leaving Gobert open, and Allen stays attached to Favors. Boom. Bucket. Perfect basketball. Perfect basketball. So that's the essence of where basketball is right now in the NBA offensively. Hope you enjoyed the show today. That's what I got for you. Hope you're having fun. There was a lot of general NBA stuff there. Hope that's all right. Let me know. I'm always interested in hearing how you are. We got another one of these tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll look at some lineup stuff with the Nylon Calculus did and get ready for the home opener. Tickets are available at utahjazz.com. Come on. Big fireworks show, all sorts of fun. Get out there and support it. See ya.